Jacob Zach here, and we're just covering obviously rental and that process, how it works. Today we're going to talk about just FAQs and just some key points to keep in mind. First, let's talk about pricing. So typically I tell my clients, whatever stuff's listed at, assume that's what it's kind of going to go for and what you're going to pay. So, if your budget's $1,800, don't be looking at $19, assuming you're going to get $100 off. Anytime we're submitting offers, we'll always, double check what stuff's leasing either in the building or in the area to get an idea of, are we paying market price here? Typically, if you're looking under $2,000 per month, you're not going to get too much pull on that in terms of pricing. When you start looking at $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month in rental allowance there, you typically have more of more room to move on price, and that's just because there's less demand and they don't rent as fast. Also, like when you're viewing units, typically we need about 24 hours. So keep that in mind when, you see something you like. We're typically going to need about 24 hours to get into it. That's mainly because like 95% of stuff out there is occupied already, and we need to notify tenants to get into it. Another good question we get is like, in terms of credit reportings, that if you have bad credit, is it a good idea still to put it? We need to submit that no matter what. So, we can always spin it in a different way. I always say money talks. If you have bad credit, we can always hedge it with more money as a deposit. That typically will get, some interest. And then we just go from there. So we do need to submit that. Another good one is like, hey, I got no employment, going to school or whatnot. That's fine, as long as typically we're going to need a guarantee on the loan, which might be a family member or a friend, which basically states, hey, if you do not pay, they're liable and we'll be paying for you. So it's a big responsibility, but obviously it comes with that territory if you're going to school and whatnot. One last thing is like, anything in real estate is negotiable, but keep in mind, your demands, keep them realistic. A good example is like a lot of times we look at units that don't have window coverings. We always try to get those put into the deal, but at some point, I always say if they're not offered already, chances are the landlord's not going to put them up. But it's something to keep in mind that, hey, we still can ask and see what we get, right? So that's pretty much our tips for today. Like us, subscribe, and we look forward to helping you out. Take care.